Testing, testing. Ooh, Mike already working today. Happy Friday. Oh man, happy Friday. Hopefully everybody's having an amazing week. Hopefully we're in position I promise you, it wasn't even on mute. Oh my God.
What do you mean? You mean it's the Wi-Fi or something?
It wasn't muted. It just, the mic wasn't picking up after.
Okay, so you can fix it, right?
I just gave the greatest opener.
Dad, go to your people, please. Talk to your
Mom,
people.
I just gave the greatest opener, and now
talk to your people. You can do it again if you're great, you can do it again.
I'll talk to you later, Ma.
Okay, have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
I am sick right now. I am absolutely sick right now. I promise you, when I first came on, I literally saw it. I wasn't on mute. This time it wasn't me. The mute button was not pressed. All right, let's get to it. All right, so as y'all are joining, I'm gonna need y'all to make sure that you we need as many different people in the building as possible. Don't even worry about subscribing. Like. Let's boost the algorithm. We got a lot to discuss. And there's no way that I'm going to be able to do the same intro over, but it doesn't matter because it wasn't rehearsed and I ended up talking about a whole bunch of stuff that I wasn't necessarily going to talk about. But we're going to, I think, end up discussing everything that I kind of was presenting. And these have been my thoughts over the last couple of days. Maybe we'll back into it. These have been my thoughts. Did y'all hear me say what a man is to me? When y'all saw me pointing at this shirt, this has been the struggle that I've been having. The struggle that I've been having, and it's a good struggle, right? Growth comes from struggle, right? When I look at that shirt and I see a capital M, it's a difference for me between a lowercase m and a capital M. When I think of what a man is, what is a man to y'all? A man to me is a leader. That's what a capital M is. When a man is fully functioning and maximizing a man's capability, I see a great leader. That's what I see. So what is a great leader? A great leader to me is somebody that focuses primarily on one thing: solving problems. Solving problems. How do you present a solution for this particular problem? Now, when we look across society, we can look at the healthcare system and health. We can look at race relations. We can look at religious relations. We can look at politics. We can look at all these different things that we all look at them from different perspectives. But I think right now in society, we can all say that, is this still muted? Oh, I was about to say, all right, it's not muted. I think we all can say that we're living in a place where there's a lot of problems. We're living during a time when there's a lot of problems. Maybe some people will say that we've always lived during times where problems, but we're probably living during these times now where solving the problems is as least popular as it's ever been. And maybe that's a form of manipulation, and maybe it's because certain people are trying to capitalize off of certain things. I'll give you some examples. And I think when we look at it through, let's say, obesity. My mom sent me an article recently on obesity. And I was reading the article. I don't even know if I read the entire article or it was a clip. I don't know if it was a video. Matter of fact, it was a video. And maybe I'll go back and we'll look at that. But it was on obesity and how obesity is becoming a problem. And I'm sitting here like, yo, they're just doing a video on the news now about obesity becoming a problem. We've been talking about this as an issue that is killing people for years on this show, right? We've been having this conversation and now they're just putting it on the news. Now we're just realizing that, oh yeah, when you encourage people to, yeah, you can be happy and be 250 pounds. Don't let anybody shame you. Now we're finally getting to the point where we're realizing like, well, maybe that's not the best thing to encourage people to be unhealthy. But the reason why we've allowed it, and so many men and so many, maybe men and women, haven't stepped up is because leadership gets threatened, right? When you actually try to solve problems, you're usually telling people that you have to do something that you're not comfortable doing, and I'm going to call you out on your bullshit, and people don't like that, right? So when we look at how we've solved healthcare, right? The healthcare issue. What do we typically do? We look at the symptoms and we try to alleviate symptoms without actually solving the problem. We'll give you a GLP-1, we'll give you the Monjera or whatever it's called. What's the other popular one? We'll have Serena Williams get on TV and she'll tell you about, oh, well, if you can't lose weight, then there's nothing wrong with just taking this little shot and advertise it like that. When what are the actual solutions to that? The actual solutions are going out and burning calories, going out and being active, going out, lifting some weights, going out and sprinting, going out and doing the things that we know that we need to do on the fitness side of things in order to be healthy. Then it's in the kitchen. Maybe not eating so many processed foods. Maybe when we're in the grocery store, staying around the outside of the grocery store rather than buying all the things that are packaged inside with all the salt and the sugar, all the addictive things in those things that are not even actually food. It's not real food. We know the things that we should be doing. We know what the actual solutions are, but typically, what do? We choose what's going to temporarily alleviate whatever symptom it is that we want to, rather than actually solving the problem. We do the same thing when it comes to politics. The same thing. We don't ever try to solve a problem. We don't ever hold politicians accountable to solve a problem. It's all symptom based. How can I alleviate this symptom? How can I give you, oh, we'll go to the doctor's office and it'll be, oh, you're pre-diabetic. The doctors may not even necessarily talk to you about your food, but they'll give you some prescriptions that the pretty girl that works for the pharmaceutical company just dropped off, and she's going to come through in a nice little sexy dress and try to give that lame doctor, some prescriptions to try, and the doctor's going to feel good because he's never had a young girl who looks like that give them any type of attention. And then they're going to also say, hey, doc, the more you prescribe, we'll also fly you out to our conference. You can be a speaker. You may never even have to speak in the conference in an island, but we're going to pay for your vacation. And we see how this stuff goes, right? So then you're taking medicine that alleviates certain symptoms. But if you look at the side effects, what are the side effects? Typically, sometimes the side effects are worse than the thing that you're actually trying to solve. There's a reason why you're supposed to go about it in a natural way, because you get all of those other actual benefits that are going to come from working out and come from eating healthy. The microwave approach typically doesn't work. So how does this apply to politics? Everything's symptom based. Oh, we got Trump, racist, right? Or we got Obama, black guy. Okay, let's solve that. We don't like what Barack's doing. Let's move to Trump. Oh, we don't like what Trump's doing. He's racist. So let's move it. Everything is symptom based. That's why the pendulum tends to swing in an extreme direction. It's easier for the Democrats, it's easier for the Republicans to sell us based on alleviating our symptoms rather than holding us accountable, because then in turn it would hold them accountable to actually providing solutions. That's why when we watch the news stations, they're not based on providing solutions. They're not based on actually bringing people to the table, bringing two different sides to the table and saying, hey, let's bring some common sense to this. The only thing that now we're seeing that people are coming together on is what? And we just saw it happen with the recent elections in New York City with a lot of people are giving Mamdani, saying Mamdani backed candidates. It's not Mamdani, in my opinion. It's actually even the candidates that he didn't support. I believe 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5 of them won. I think it was 3 out of 4. And it's unifying on one issue. It's just Israel. A lot of people are coming together. We're seeing this issue with Israel not only tear apart the Democrats, it's torn apart conservatives as well. It's tearing apart liberals and conservatives. And it's a shame that we have to get to a point where, in my opinion, there's a genocide being committed for people to come together and realize, like, okay, maybe this isn't approach to a lot of these things. Maybe this isn't the best approach, but we always look at it from what's going to solve this symptom. And I'll tell you exactly how we know that we're looking at it that way. I hear people all the time criticizing people that, let's say, vote Democrat liberal. It's so easy for them to criticize Donald Trump, right? It's so easy for them to look at Donald Trump's actions under a microscope. But if you looked at the candidate that you voted for under that same microscope, the person that's actually supposed to do the things for you, then wouldn't that put us in a better position? But what does it go back to? Who's looking to solve problems? Who's looking to bring solutions to the table? But solutions require accountability on everybody. When you can just give somebody candy or just give somebody, say, oh, just take this pill and you can eat as much fried chicken as you want. That person that likes fried chicken is going to take that option typically because that's the easier option. It's the feel-good option. It's the option that gives you the excuse to continue doing the things that you're doing and to remove accountability in what you need to do to solve your issue and to put it on something else. That's exactly how we look at politics. The Democrats never sit back and say, hey, this is what we went about doing wrong. We need to do better on this. We need to do better here. I don't see a lot of that. I don't see the same thing on the Republican side. It's typically, this is why you'll see people get mad at Tucker Carlson when he comes out and says, I'm done with the Republican Party. You'll see people where it's like, well, if you're saying you're done with the Republican Party, but you're not going to support what are you just trying to get the Democrats to win? No, it's these issues that we've been talking about are getting very silly on both sides, and there needs to be some sort of common ground and some sort of manly leadership to solve problems rather than to just give people temporary symptom-based ailments, or to solve ailments and to solve symptoms in a temporary way. But we got a surprise for y'all. Play ball.
Let's go.
How much you've heard?
Yeah, I kind of jumped in when you were, what it sounded like you were describing somewhat of the divide between the political parties and how people, seems like you're describing like that people aren't open to criticizing the side that they're voting for.
Yeah, and just overall, so I kind of was jumping all over the place. And I'll kind of tell you why. And maybe we'll get into one of these videos that I wanted to review. But the reason why I'm jumping all over the place is because nothing frustrates me more than when I see the lack of men being men. I think it just ruins society. Yeah. I think when I look at and this kind of came about when I was looking at a Carmelo Anthony video.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, literally, we're jumping all over the place. But hopefully the chat's cool with it. Y'all know how we do. And we'll connect it as we go. But when I think about the Carmelo Anthony situation, for me, it always goes back to this only, I've told you about this Clubhouse conversation that I had a while ago. I was actually going back and forth with Mike Antarasi.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I was going back and forth with Mike Antarasi, and I felt like it was just me versus the world in there. And I was sitting here because I was saying this is when the whole toxic masculinity thing was up, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody was saying like, oh, men need to be more vulnerable. Men need to be more in touch with their feelings. Men need to be more expressive, all this other stuff. And I'm like, what? I'm like, yo, how do, on one hand, we complain about toxic masculinity, telling men that they need to be soft, when I'm looking at it from the lens that I'm seeing things for, the toxic aspects of masculinity are based on men not being masculine. You know what I mean? The lack of testosterone, men behaving like females. Like, I don't think that we had a problem where men are being like there's not. The reason why people like Tate and all, what is it, the red pill? Mm-hmm. The reason why that became such a phenomenon is because there were so many kids that were used to the opposite.
Yeah, that's true.
If that was just how men behave, then Tate wouldn't have been a big thing. It would have just been like, oh yeah, that's just how men behave. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have been an issue. Even like there's been different instances where I remember when Trump said like grab him by the pee. And like all these men were making a big deal out of this in a private conversation. And I'm like, yo, do you realize how men talk about when we're in private? Like, are we gonna act like men don't talk like this?
Oh my God, you said that?
Huh? Yeah, it's like, oh my God, like you said, grandma, and it was just like I'm looking back, I'm like, where is this going? So in this particular conversation on Clubhouse with toxic masculinity, fast forward to now, you have a society that has pushed men to be extremely feminine, right? While encouraging women who now have a response to that to be more masculine, right? Mm-hmm. So you have men that are not only raised by women, but are encouraged to be more feminine by society. So they're not growing up with, let's say, the stoicism that a man typically brings to the table, where a man can't just become emotional over certain things, because most decisions, if you're emotional, you're not going to make the better logical choice, right? You can't just, men can't just move around emotional and just respond to things. We have to be proactive rather than just being reactive. But we have a very reactive society that just typically feeds people's emotions rather than actually tries to solve issues. So how does this relate to a Carmelo Anthony? When I see Carmelo Anthony's and a lot of young boys, let's say, or young men behaving like that, I see a lot of overly emotional men, let's say like a Willie D. We were reviewing one of Willie D's lives, who he's saying, well, he shouldn't touch me. And you put hands on somebody and acting as if it's okay to stab somebody. Yeah. That's responding in an overly emotional way. And emotions have landed a lot of people in prison. And when I look at it, it's a lot of black men in prison. A lot of these black men that are not raised by men in the household. So they have the emotional intelligence, or not even, I'm going to say emotional intelligence. They have the emotion response, like the emotional response system of a woman, but they're a man. And then they end up in situations like Carmelo Anthony, where you can't control certain emotions and you feel justified. And we'll all jump out here and say, well, he should have, there's stand your ground, there's this and that. Meanwhile, this young boy now has to serve, or got sentenced 35 years in prison. And now he has to go as an 18-year-old. I think he's already made certain complaints about him being violated and touched on there, just because we've condoned this emotionalized behavior by men. And all the men that were making money and benefiting from screaming and pointing the finger, wagging the finger at men for being toxically masculine. And you need to be more in touch with your feelings. It's okay if boys cry. Where are all those men now when it comes to, clearly the pendulum has swung too far in the other direction?
Yeah.
And that lack of masculinity, to me, we see it in politics. We see it in our health. We see it in all these different areas where we are fixated more on how people feel rather than solving problems. The Democrats and Republicans, they appeal to you based on how you feel, not solving a particular problem. It's never about solving a problem. Because if it was about solving a problem, when your candidate got in office, you'd be more concerned about your candidate, the one that you voted for, to do certain things, rather than when the other candidate that won of the opposing party gets in, you're more critical of that person. Why would you care more when you actually have the juice? You have the key and you care less, but you care more when somebody else has the key, because all you want to do is bitch and complain at like a female.
Yeah.
And it's not I don't know.
Yeah, you get it. It's definitely a recipe that requires all ingredients to be applied, or it's not going to hit the way it should hit. So you're right. It's just like, a lot of like the BLM stuff, like everybody wants to pull that card out, but then it's just like they always like conveniently disappear when it's like black on black issues, or somebody does something, and it's just like they subjectively pull up when they feel like it's beneficial. And I think, kind of be working with you on this podcast, that's where I open my eyes to like, hold up, damn, I'm paying attention so much to where they're telling me to look. I ain't even looking back and saying, hold on, y'all not doing nothing. Y'all just calling out that they ain't doing nothing. And so over time, you begin to realize, oh shit, that's the whole propaganda. Like that's the whole position, that if I can speak about what he's not doing with as much marketing dollars and make it enthusiastic, or, put propaganda behind it, or whatever I do to give it that shiny light syndrome, you're not even going to pay attention. I'm just sitting back, really catching the back end, and you ain't really tripping on me. So absolutely. I mean, it's a testimony as far as, with Carmelo to not having like you said, like not having a father. And I don't know. I hope that this doesn't.
I think he has it. I think he
do got a pops.
I saw his father do an interview.
Okay.
And to me, see, I think that society first physically removed the father out the household, right?
Okay.
So society physically removed the father out the household. When I look at society right now, I feel like a lot of times, even a father in the household, there's no father. There's not a man in the household. Like things are just, men are so feminized right now, bro. That's why when you can't, that's why you have certain issues where you'll go in the Nike store and see a plus size model. Because that's because no man wants to stand up and say, yo, this is bullshit. We're not doing this. Because you'll get criticized. You'll be the one that will lose funding or lose whatever. You get what I'm saying? Everything is based on how people feel. No, Nike is supposed to be about fitness, about health. So it's not about shaming people who are, let's say, look a particular way. It just so happens to be that look of that particular way is not aligned with maybe health. It's not aligned with being a wellness. You get what I'm saying? It's not about shaming a person.
Yeah, then that's okay.
And I just see this in so many different areas where it's just, I'll tell you another example. Men. To me, men being caught up in, like I would never join a gang. I have a father. I understand why a lot of young boys join gangs, because a lot of times they don't feel maybe the love at the home, identity. They're growing up in a particular area where they need protection. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it is based on lacking provision and protection. You do not have that father figure. To me, I would never join a gang. It's just like, it's very like I'll be real. You know how I feel about fraternities. I never, what? Like, are you crazy? Like, you telling me somebody's going to spank me so I can be friends with them and join your fraternity? You must be like, I always looked at that as some corny shit. I'm being real. And a lot of my views were based on the type of father that I had. You know what I'm saying? So to each their own. But the point that I'm making is, why do we allow ourselves as men to join these political gangs? It's the same thing. Men are supposed to come together and talk and have conversation and solve problems. The more you have your gang affiliation, Democrats and Republicans, the less likely you are to come together and have a conversation. You know what I mean? It's creating a barrier for people to just come, sit down, have a conversation. You're coming with so much where it's like, oh, you're Republican, you're this. You voted for this, this, and that. You voted for this, this, and that. Already we can't even you know what I mean? Why are we going out of our way to create these barriers? There's no benefit to it. But I don't understand. Like, it to me, it's just like, at what point do men just decide, like, yeah, this isn't making any sense, it's not working. All it's doing is making me hate that other person. And if they hate me, then no matter right or wrong, we're never going to be in a place where we're going to be living in some sort of harmony in society.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. It does make it it makes it where it's like, I don't get how it's like, what it's almost like either they're intentionally removing the quote unquote, like the men who would really stand on business like that, or it's like we've just created a culture that almost like demasculates it. So like, if you too, Andrew Tate, get your ass up out the way, we ain't rocking with that no more. So they just make it like it's almost like this undigestible approach when there's just so much, which is interesting, right? Because if you think the military, you don't see a space where a bunch of niggas is just like, oh, express your, like, nah, bro. You don't see NFL teams. You don't see the other sports team, that everything is very like military put your emotions aside. The job is the job and get it done. But it's just like when it comes into this like vast space of just where everybody has input, it's like, well, we don't want that. That's toxic masculinity. But it's just like so much of America has benefited from men being men. It's like, why would we all of a sudden change shit now? And now we look up and boys want to be girls, girls want to be boys, boys want to play in girls sports. Like we see the direction this is somewhat pushing, but it's just like now we're seeing the master plan. Like there's a benefit from men not being men, because now men who might be on top of shit like that don't even feel comfortable because they like, damn, I might be doing too much. Or the way these girls respond to, a man being very assertive or, what I would say dominant, like now that's taboo. Like, oh my gosh, girl, he won't let you what? He won't let you wear what? He won't let you step out what? Like that's controlling. You need to leave him. You're not happy. You need to chase your happiness. And so it's just like you would have think after constant review over the years that we would be somewhat in a better place, but it's just like it's almost like we're taking a new test and we forgot history in the past and the benefits from men being men and all these other things, and we're just trending in the wrong direction where it's just causing more divide, which is causing more argument, which is making political parties become beyond more radical and people being a lot more emotional, and the kids are being emotional and the kids are lacking self-control. So men are lacking self-control, then women are stepping up and realizing, damn, they ain't no control. So then they begin super masculine. Then there's a divide between the Venus and the Mars, and it just keeps going and going and going and going and going and going. And I still think people realize it. I just don't think they give a fuck.
That's what it is. And let me be clear. The Andrew Tate stuff, that's feminine too. And we have to be careful to not get caught up in it. And let me not say, no, hold on. I apologize. I didn't mean that that's feminine. I used the wrong word. I meant that that's overly emotional. It's emasculated. The Andrew Tate stuff is just as overly emotional, just in a different way than this is toxically masculine, because the pendulum swings. Like where men come in is balance, logic. Because what ends up happening, you'll get overly emotional men, right? Over here, right? Or overly emotional, soft men. And they see a guy like Andrew Tate and that appeals to them. So what do? They move in the extreme opposite direction.
Yeah, now they're violating people.
Extremes are emotional. You know what I mean? Like think about how you behave when you're emotional. You're typically very extreme. You don't care. You ready to crash out. Yeah. Either you'll say like, I'm not doing nothing, or you say, fuck it, I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? They're both super emotional. Where the men come in is supposed to be where the stoicism comes in, where it's like, nah. Oh, we need some balance. We need some fairness. We need some discipline. We need some control. But what have men allowed? Even when it comes to the political parties are just getting more and more extreme, right? Extreme because they want to use our emotions to get us engaged, to get us wanting to believe in them, wanting to support them, wanting to invest our time, effort, energy, money, and whatever else in them, because we see them as a solution, because we don't think that we can fix it ourselves. It's a lazy way. And we've allowed our society to get this way. Everything is overly emotional. And we're like, it's like we're up here with the pendulum, right? Holding like a big weight. We know that it's gonna, if we let it go and push it, it's gonna swing in the extreme opposite direction. Rather than like the hardest thing to do is, we gotta ease this thing down and work towards, some sort of balance, because we know that if we just let this thing go, there's no way that we can actually stop it when it gets to the middle, because we're pushing it and we're letting it go, and it's so heavy, and the heaviness consists of a lot of how they prep us. They create a lot of heaviness with the hatred that they'll instill in one side for the other, the fear that they'll instill in one side for the other. So therefore, all that heaviness is creating something where it can't stop in the middle. It's going to have to swing heavy in the other direction. Now, this other group over here, they're scared. They're pissed off. So now they just swing it back. And men, what men do is like, how about, because it's very hard if we're on this side to bring this thing down, how about some of the men from over here say, you know what, let's help them ease this thing on down So
Yeah.
therefore we can have some sort of balance in the middle, and then we can have more constructive conversations about where to take this thing. That's how I look at it.
But see, that shows how that shows that exposes that majority of people that speak this don't really truly care about the solution. Because like you said, naturally, even if you are on an opposing team, if you cared about the goodwill of the society or people as a whole, then you wouldn't be concerned about what jersey or who's getting nominated for the award. The simple goal at the end was to be the peace, the kindness, the collaboration would be way more important to you than who's getting credit for it. So it exposes that that's obviously not true. But then even if you expose it, they can still stand on it.
Yeah.
They still, even like, they may not verbally stand on it, but it's like you still stand on it. Like, remember those arguments we would get about religion? You were never exclusively like, nah, that shit you talking about don't make sense. You were like, I actually am not concerned about the sense, more am I concerned about the solution. So if it works, I'm all for it. But that's somebody who's trying to solve the issue. All you're doing is going around exposing people. Oh, hold on. You ain't really trying to make something shake. You really just trying to push what you believe is true because there's a benefit for you. And by you constantly running into people that exposes their true focus. Now, what is what do people do when they're exposed that they're not truly doing something that they claim they were trying to do? Well, we've just gotten so soft as society, we don't even hold people accountable when they go into office and say they're going to do some shit and they don't do it. So that's the bigger issue, is that just even with exposed logic, I've always thought that if I could become a more logical person, I could put my emotions aside and then I could present logic to people, that I could walk people into, from a selfish point, convince them that what I'm thinking is legitimate because the logic is attached to it. And then I realized that majority people, logic still is a different language for an individual that is more concerned about how they feel. And so you're just speaking another language in another country by trying to get somebody to understand that logic. Like, you can get an argument with a girl and you present the facts and the logic, and it's still up. She still don't care. That's when I realized, like, oh, damn, I always thought this just was a ladies thing. No, this is just a human thing. Even presented with the truth, people find a way to say it's not. Even presented with logic, people try to say it was not. So then I started realizing that these people ain't crazy. I am. I'm the problem. I'm in a world where majority will assume this way. And here I am with my selfish beliefs, saying that if I can present people with logic and structure and show them that this is the way and 1 + 1 = 2, that they will obviously get on board just like they did in math class. No, math doesn't have emotions, but people's lives, livelihood, their outlook, perspective, politics, religion, all these things, it does have emotion. And that's the one X variable that nobody really warned us that is more important than any logic that you can bring in. And that's why so many people from the corrupt side in history overall have always won, because they realize, nigga, it don't matter if 1 + 1 is 2. The X variable is more important than anything. So if I'm a drug dealer, niggas know logically this shit is stupid, but how the fuck they never have an excess of people to spin the block on their behalf? But if I could tell niggas, go to school and you'll get a good job and get a degree and you'll make your mom, dad, and dad happy and you'll pass it down through your legacy and your kids will benefit, I can't pay niggas to do that. So that's when I realized, oh shit, I've been reading the wrong game, and niggas has taught me that you're smart because you're logical, you understand logic. No, that's not how it works. If you want to move people, which ultimately is probably, I would say, one of the top important things as I've gotten older, is that being able to collab and talk to people from different walks of life and persuade people and things of that nature, that value is way more valuable than anything I could have ever learned in a book, in a college, in a job, work experience, anything of that nature. And now I'm just now learning that I'm fucking 40, that learning how to move people and how they feel will always be more beneficial and even financially beneficial than it will be anything else.
Bro, everything that you just said, yeah, it brought up so many different thoughts in my mind,
Just fine.
especially from the first thing that you mentioned with those conversations that we have about religion. We used to have those group conversations, and it's funny how can I word this? Some of those conversations, along with others, views that I've had, and you'll be able to take away what I'm saying. Like, business was taken from me. People didn't want to work with me anymore. And I'm over here like, wait, so I'm only allowed to have an opinion that agrees with you. But when I challenge something, it's like, you don't want to work with me anymore, like on something that has totally like nothing to do with this. And then you'll just like kind of like cut it off a bit. It's just another form of emasculated manhood. And you're absolutely right in every single area, going to where you started to where you finished, where you're talking about it's more lucrative. You're better off when you could just tap into people's emotions. They're going to be better off. That's why religion is what it is. That's why politics is what it is.
Yeah.
That's why the people that have a more logical, middle of the ground, let's say, take some principles from Democrats, take some principles from Republicans. That's why they can't win.
Yeah,
because
they're always
people that it should be common sense. Like, imagine this. Most people, if you look at Democrats and Republicans, like most people are somewhere in the middle. Very few are extreme. But you can never get a person, a political candidate who has like views that are common, sense from both sides.
Yeah.
It's like, how do they not have the best chance to win? They have the least chance to win. The extreme on both ends are going to be the ones that bash that one person, right? And then the people that vote, they'll say, oh, this person's not going to have a shot, so I'm just going to go with this other person.
Yeah,
it's like, wait, what? Like the logic around that, it's just mind-boggling. So then it puts most people in a position where it's like, you know what? I tried to bring some common sense to this thing. I tried to play the middle ground, but you know what? Y'all don't want that. So I'm just going to give y'all what y'all want. I'll just go back to the emotions. I'll keep selling y'all on the same bullshit because that's what y'all buying. I keep trying to sell y'all this organic food, but y'all want the processed chips. So fuck it. Y'all get the potato chips. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
like Abu Han said, people would rather vote for someone who makes them feel good than someone who can actually help them. Yeah, like I've just always thought that a hit dog hollered. I just always assumed that if somebody could muster up enough energy and courage to express how they feel publicly and not in privacy, that they were always in a position where their back was against the wall and they needed some level of guidance, whether that be spiritual, verbally, motivational. But I've always looked at people that express that way. I'm like, oh shit, niggas must have hit a wall. Yo, we got to step in. Like, this is real. Niggas don't show emotion. So when I see it, I'm always thinking somebody need help. And then I'm realizing, nigga, that's the wolf in sheep's clothing. People don't give a fuck. Niggas. The amount of
elaborate on that, because what you mean? Are you talking about as far as like when people try to ask you how you're feeling or stuff? Like, what do you mean?
Like when people I've just always if somebody expresses like something upsets them, like politics for a second.
Yeah.
Like politics, or let's go BLM, let's go ICE, let's go anything that has created huge rifts in our past history, whether it be political, sports, religious, anything that we've undiscovered. Epstein filed, it don't matter. And then I've always assumed that, damn, like I'm seeing niggas expressing themselves. I'm seeing fuck Trump. Then I'm seeing fuck Obama. I'm like, oh shit. Like they really feel this way. And then I look up and I'm just like, niggas just told me what the Pistons score was or the New York Mets game was. And then they go back to work and all of a sudden like this passion and these black boxes that y'all put in y'all Instagram a couple years ago when what happened and the Skittles and where's everybody? Like I thought when y'all was rioting, y'all were fed up. I thought the spin was for good. I thought you wasn't taking another step back. And then I see us just continue to just kind of do like these constant waves. And so for people as a whole, I think I've learned that, yes, just because somebody expresses to you, Brian, that they are upset about a decision or upset about a political party or upset about anything in general, do not assume that that is just not an emotional thing that will fade away over time. Don't be in a rush to go assist somebody just because they're saying, man, yo, I'm broke as shit, bro. I don't know what I need to do, blah, blah, blah. Watch how they move for 90 days to 6 months, and then you'll see if they're dead ass serious. Too many times, as soon as somebody tells me they need help, I'm running because I know how I'd run. I'm like, yo, if I need help, bro, please believe it take me more courage to ask a nigga for help than anything. So when I spin the block, I'm really seeing me and people. I'm like, oh shit, he needs something. Let me see how I can help. Then I'm realizing, damn, they don't even give a fuck. Here I am operating the world like I would want the world operated for me. Like if somebody needs help or somebody is being emotional about something or a man is upset and he's expressing himself, like they'll step in and help. Then I'm realizing like, damn, Shorty still went back to that nigga that was hitting her. So she still went back. This nigga still went back to that job that been underpaying him, complaining about it. He keep complaining that he want to get right, but then he's still over there at Burger King. I'm like, hold on. So then I just stopped giving a fuck. And then what that's caused me to do over time is just like, I don't even want to get super cool with a nigga I'm not ready to spend for. Like if I'm not ready to do whatever for you, then we probably not even going to be close because I got to protect myself and how I know I'm willing to spend if I call you my guy. So that being said, we're going to keep shit cordial, keep shit simple. I'm not concerned about who you like, what you do. And it's not because that's who I've sought out to be. But over time in the years, you just realize, damn, man, you'll spend half of your life trying to help niggas that were never even trying to help themselves. And then you look up, you're like, damn, you ain't even got a nigga in the corner for you. If you need it, you don't have like, and even those people, like, because I think good people that really want to help people or even successful people, have you noticed that people that are uberly successful and make a lot of money and they have, freedom and they're able to have access and they're able to travel with their children, all this stuff. Have you ever noticed that those people typically have open arms to helping other people achieve that level of success?
Yeah.
But then people that somehow you can find people in spaces where you wouldn't necessarily say you would be pursuing their lifestyle, yet they have a completely different outlook on it.
Hold on, say it again. So you're saying that the people that are very successful typically have open arms to help people?
Yeah, like think of how many mentorships niggas is trying to sell you on the internet for $25,000, $10,000, $5,000.
Right.
Thinking about like in the past, you said you ran into a few cats with the small hats that was just like, Dad, what you need? What you need? We'll put some bread on it. What you want? See, I'm not trying to fire up the stream.
Hold on, I want to be clear. Hold on, what?
The hats that are small.
Oh, my Jewish brothers.
Yeah, your Jewish bros. I didn't want to get the algorithm fired up, so I was keeping it low.
Hold up. So you're saying like, yeah, a lot of them have had open arms.
Yeah, like when people have achieved true happiness.
Yeah.
It's just like when people are really happy, they typically don't spew hate.
Yeah.
But then when niggas is not happy, you just see care and shit. So we're dealing with so many emotions, even when you're stoic, bro, even when you are logical. Please believe that this does not separate you from dealing with the majority of the people that you're going to run into. And you have to be emotionally sound to navigate in the world. So you're no better than being logical in a world of illogical than you would be being logical in a world of logical. Like it's still a difficult journey for you.
You know what I've also noticed, and even like I'm thinking back to these people that I'm sure you're referencing that I've told you about before, how they don't rock with me right now. And
Who don't?
those people that you mentioned, like
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of my Jewish brothers,
yeah,
like they don't rock with me right now because of like, and to me, this is how it's just another example of how emasculated we've become as men. You don't rock with me because I'm not okay with Israel committing a genocide to Palestinians. That I'm not okay with you using whatever means you feel are appropriate in your mind, whether that means killing thousands of children, killing thousands of people. Like we don't even have to always do the children game. Killing men and women is bad too. You know, like killing anybody. So because I'm not okay with that and I express my opinion on it, you're not friends with me. And typically those people don't even have a conversation about like, hey, where are you seeing things? If you're so uncomfortable with me reviewing Nick Fuentes videos that you don't want to work with me, it's like, but you won't even have a conversation about like, hey, this is a problem for me to do. Like, it's not like I review Nick Fuentes videos because I agree with everything that Nick says. I think that's pretty obvious if you have ever sat down and looked at a review. But because that doesn't and hold up, what makes Nick Fuentes views worse than yours? Those are your views. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe, and this is what typically happens. It's the same thing with politics. People will say certain things, and it's typically something that only applies to them. I have somebody in my family that is at risk for being who came illegally or whatever, maybe be at risk for being deported or something like that. So I'm supposed to shift every single one of my views because you have one person in your family that is at risk for, you know what I mean? It's like that's the problem with how we get here. We can't have these conversations. And the reason why you have situations like that where you have to go extreme now is because we've created this system where we only vote for one or two parties. So it's like I have to either vote for the party that allows in 10 million illegal migrants, or I got to vote for the party that, now is supporting it. You know what I mean? It's like it shouldn't be that way. But because the lack of men coming to the table and discussing things as men and figuring things out as men, we have to now be extreme.
Yeah.
And it's like that's just you know what I mean? So
but see, that's the play. Like the play is so strategic, and it really makes your outlook on history change a little bit, because it makes you think that all these freedom fighters and all these equal rights for women and equal rights for Black people and all these things in history have, like, we hear of these like just the worst stories in history in the past. But now, as we are in present 2026, when cars are driving themselves, and we know damn well that putting your hands on another person is not right, and exploiting kids is not right, and we know this. I am living in history. Like, if history was one thing, I could say niggas didn't know, they were idiots, they didn't have a choice. I am in 2026. And if we can personally accept certain things in this day and either turn a blind cheek, not pay attention, or simply not riot when certain things happen, then I'm not surprised about how history was written to begin with. But second of all, I always believe that there's some objective behind when there is change. So cool, women can be in the workforce now. There's a play behind that. We sitting here thinking, oh shit, yeah, like women get in office, Black people get off the plantation. And then we turn around and say, hold on, there's a play behind this. Every time there's been a change in history, if you look at it from how could I run a play out of this? How could I benefit off of this struggle? Then you start to put two and two together that there has been no change in history that somebody hasn't benefited for it. So it makes you think that all change in history has always been only okay if there was somebody that was able to financially benefit from the change.
It's like the stocks. People don't like consistency. people make a lot of money whether a stock goes up
Mhm.
high or down.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and, just, and, and just to be clear, real quick, going back to the Nick Fuentes videos, I don't want people to think that that's why I stopped doing the reviews. Like I have to be very clear with that. Like that was like I just found that out recently that somebody stopped working with me and that it was because of that. Like, yeah. And I'm like, really? Like, damn. And I found out how I found out.
Mhm.
But going back to what you said, this is the exact thing with the social programs. This is with Mamdani. This is like all these things. It's like this is what I talk about, like the extremes, the symptoms. You're missing the play that BK's talking about because you're so emotional. You shouldn't just be able to vote. Yeah, free. Yeah, you'll get free this. You'll get free that. You'll get. Whoa. How does that impact like? Whoa.
I need to see the.
Who's paying for this free stuff? How is it? You know what I mean? But we just like, yeah, they deserve free healthcare. It's like, hold up. I'm going to show a couple different clips. Even like Whoopi Goldberg had JD Vance on The View. They have JD, and they're asking about, what's your issue with immigration in the Catholic faith that says that people should be accepted? Well, Whoopi, do you just accept everybody into your home? Like, can somebody break into your home illegally and just be at your home? Like, it's the same thing with there's laws. So if you want to go about changing the immigration laws, then you change that. But as far as just letting people in illegally, like that's not. But it's social programs, DEI. There's a play behind all of these things. But because we're so emotional, because we have men have been convinced that we're entitled to certain things, because we're victims and we're not even realizing how the DEI and social programs destroy us more than the things that we say that we're fighting up against. Yeah. We're fighting against racism. Yeah, well, you know what fighting against racism does? It makes you realize that, hey, I have to outwork. I have to out whatever. I have to score higher. So therefore, I have to work harder in order to get maybe what that person who I'm competing against doesn't have to work harder for. You know what that's doing? Now I got to practice more. Now I got to put in all this extra work that's going to prepare me rather than somebody else just saying, oh, no, I'll just give it to you. Whoa. You're just going to give me something. That means that I'm not going to actually go through all the steps of outworking this person. So now I'm going to be even more disadvantaged. Yep. And now that person actually has to work harder. So now the gap is just going to be even wide. It's like, how are we not looking at this?
Yeah. I can't say I would have just peeped that. Like in my 20s, I'm not putting that together. I'm choosing and thinking like, damn, man, the Democrats are helping people. Like, why the hell is everybody beefing with that? Like, these programs are amazing. She has 3 kids. She needs the help. Like, why wouldn't we help her? Like, you guys are monsters. I can't say that I would have peeped the play if I didn't. I don't know. I don't know what it would have needed to transpire for me to even hear all of what you hear and then even run into maybe somebody like you who sees it and even hear what you say and be like, he ain't crazy.
You want to know why people don't peep the play, in my opinion? Mm-hmm. Because of what you said earlier. People just talk shit. People are not really about, like, when people say they're upset or they need help, they're just like, oh, nah, like, I wasn't really like, you know what I mean? When you go hard for something, at least this was it for me. When I used to go hard for the blackity black stuff, it took me going hard at it and applying pressure and being in these meetings and stuff like that. Like, yo, we need to do something for the black community. Like, and I'm talking to black people. And it wasn't the white people that were shutting me down, that were disappointing me, saying like, it was the black people that were in positions to actually make a difference that were saying, oh, nah, yeah, this program that you and your mom are doing, your mom that's been teaching in the community for 30 plus years, you who just came back from playing ball, you've been teaching, volunteering. Now you're trying to do a free program that feeds the kids, educates the kids, after school program that would be really dope. And you're incorporating all the, oh, nah, yeah, we can't pass these out in the kids' backpacks because the parents have been complaining about receiving too many flyers. So now I got to go walk with Vons to every single door. You know what I'm saying? That was a black person that told me that. And I'm over here like, hold up. These niggas are not really serious about any of this stuff. They just want to complain and use racial stuff to, oh, I was racially targeted, so I'm going to use it to get in my position of power. But then when I get in that position of power, I'm not doing nothing for y'all. Like, are y'all crazy? And I kept seeing those black people. So it made me think like, yo, white people aren't my problem. It's these black people that want to act like it's a problem. And it is certain white people like the liberals that want to jump at certain liberals. I'm not talking about all liberals, but certain, it's been the case with like the social programs that we're talking about, the DEI. There's a lot of white liberals that are okay. They understand that giving people handouts is never going to actually help them. But they also understand that giving them handouts will consistently make you vote for me. So they choose to just say, you know what, I'll take your vote. You will be dependent on me. I would never allow my kids to accept this type of victimhood mindset. But if these niggas want to do it, then cool, that's on you. We'll give you whatever aid, help you need. Yeah, because then you're going to be obedient to us. So I realized by going hard at something, by losing friends, by people thinking I'm going crazy, all this different stuff, I'm like, oh, I thought y'all were just serious about like the stuff y'all were complaining about.
Yeah,
y'all would be rooting for me. Whole time y'all kicking my back in worse than the white man that y'all up here acting like is holding us back. It was the black people. So then I'm like, hold up. I started looking at my life. Like, where are all these black people that have tried to mentor me? That I've never had a black man just come and just try to mentor me, try to help me out. I've never had that. I've never had, still to this day. Like most of the people, if I'm just being real, most of the people that maybe find me or hear my message, the people that have helped me in my life, it's been mostly white men. It's been mostly white men. You said it earlier. It's been a few of my Jewish brothers. I've never had a black man come to me and offer to help me, you know, the way that, you know, other people have offered me help. And some people will say, well, that's not genuine. I would say it's not genuine for a lot of the people. Let's say if you switch on me just because I have an opinion where it just doesn't align with yours, so you're no longer willing to be my friend. But there's been a lot of others who I know that we've gone back or we don't always see the same on politics. Some of my closest like mentors, big brothers, and we haven't missed a beat. You know what I'm saying? So it's just when you go hard at something, you like a sport, it's hard for you to know if you actually like a sport if you don't give it your best shot. Give it your best shot. Go out there, commit to it. Don't half-ass it. Oh, you know what? I really like this sport. Oh, you know what? It's not for me. But you learn quickly compared to just people who just BS, and you never really see that they're not about the things that they're trying to be about or convincing you that they're about. They're just using it to get some sort of position of power, some sort of money or things of that nature.
Yeah, it really exposes everybody's heartbeat and where they at with it. Steve said something right. Like, I don't think white liberals do things to actually help people. I think they are motivated to do things to make themselves feel better. Yeah, people are in pursuit of their own self-righteousness, their own emotion, whether it's even in situations where like we're not, like, you could still manipulate that and you pursue what makes you happy and somebody else can still benefit from that. But at the same time, like, this is the dangerous game. It's like we're playing charades or we're playing this game. You remember the game where you hold the phone over your head and you got to guess the word? Like, essentially that's what this is the game that we're in. We just never know the heartbeat of anybody doing anything. And, you know, politics has shown us that they will smile in your face, take your vote, violate you. And these are people that y'all are forced to damn near vote for. And we still don't spin. So at this point, niggas, like, I don't know, like, how do you combat this funnel? I almost think it's almost like a weapon. It's like a funnel. It's like they have all the marketing to continue to capture one's emotions. And I think this is something that's been perfected with time. I think at the very, very beginning of history, when men saw that they didn't have to do what necessarily they felt was the right thing to do, and there were no repercussions from it, and they could somehow benefit from it financially or clout-wise or whatever that is. I think this is somewhat over time, this Bible, this game, this structure, this funnel has been passed down for centuries and has been implemented in multiple fields: religion, business, what else? Religion, business, with politics, like this implemented this funnel of we care, vote for us, we'll be in charge. We know you too tired to do it. We'll take care of it. We'll be in charge. Then run the play, build your audience. And then we look up, we're like, damn, how the pastor richer than everybody on the block? Like this, that is a funnel, that is a blueprint that has been tested with time and has been perfected. And you literally can take that structure and implement it in anything. And if the product is a human and human's emotions, by running that funnel, you will ultimately be successful. Mm-hmm. It's just whether or not you can turn a blind cheek to how you feel at night. If you can sleep and you don't care how many niggas you step on to get to the top, bro, this is the blueprint. Mm-hmm. And so I think people at this point now, it's like, I don't think niggas can turn up on this shit because they really been perfecting this shit since the beginning of time. Like men, I'm not even gonna say, there was at one point a group of men who kumbaya'd and, over a circled fire. And this is, they were the first niggas to start, how do we run a play? And then this play has gotten us here to this day. That's why politics, we look at it like a huge giant monster. We're like, how the fuck is we supposed to take this shit down? Bro, that's hundreds of years of work. And so I'm interested to see how do we unravel, and at the same time, do we want to unravel? Like, yes, me and you can, and people in this channel could want to, but like, when we really put the mic to everybody's mouth, I'm like, are y'all just bitching or keep it a bean? Y'all really want equal rights for the black folks? Or is this just like kind of like the wave? Like, oh, I'm a fair weather fan, or fuck the Patriots type of energy. I love the Eagles. Like, I don't know if this is just, it's just kind of popping to just like put a Trump hat on. Like, it could be because a lot of y'all niggas be emotional. Like you said, y'all be trying to tap in with the gangs. Pops don't be really standing on shit. Like, I get it. Like, I see. Like, y'all really just, a lot of y'all niggas don't even really step in like everybody ain't Chud the Builder. Everybody ain't gonna run around and say y'all niggas is chimping out. Like, some of people rally behind the shit. But that being said, like, I don't know if all the people in your posse really want the motion like that. And that's whatever side you want. Even the people that believe that they want to help the world. Like, I'm just making sure that's really how you feel. And if it is, what's the angle? What's the strategy? Because to take that big ass system down, you got to be all in. Y'all niggas be trying to take a system down and be part-time in this shit. Like you said, you got to be all in to know whether or not you fuck with the shit or not. All of y'all niggas is part-timers. You know what I mean? It's just like that part in 300 when he was like, what do you do? He was like, I'm a carpenter. What do you do? I'm a sheepsman. Then he turned around and he was like, nigga, what the fuck y'all do? All we do is turn shit up. Oh, you're not taking those niggas down because they don't even give a fuck. They're like looking to die. Y'all niggas are looking to go back to work. You can't take that down. Mm-hmm. So is it some type of self-righteousness or some type of excitement or some type of, like, maybe just your area or in your neighborhood, that's just what it's cool to do. It's just cool to be a Crip, even though you're not really with all that, or just cool to be a Blood. Like, I don't know. I don't know everybody's angle prerogative, but I will tell you, like, you can't go spin the block, go murder Fulio, get sentenced to life, then get on the stand and say it's not worth it. Like you didn't fucking know that before you pulled out an AK-47 and killed somebody. Like music has control, bro, but you're not gonna make it seem like you are retarded. You knew that. Don't tell me it's not worth it. It was. There's no way nobody, unless they have a mental illness that you have went to the doctor, there's no way you didn't know that you can't go kill a rapper or like Pooh Shiesty. No, you can't go kidnap Gucci Mane on camera for some money and think you who just got out of federal prison not going back to jail. Like, I don't think niggas are slow. I give people more credit than that. I think they're aware. I just think when they're in an emotional state, they don't give a fuck. And that being said, we have to separate niggas just doing shit when they're emotional and people that are truly wanting change, because at this point, the lines are blurry and I don't know who really spinning and who's an idiot, or you just joined the game because you ain't got no dad at home, which is insane because we're the men in the neighborhood anyway to step up. But in the black community, and it's like, damn, black community, why so many of our kids got to be on the corner selling drugs? But where the men at? Oh, the men ain't around. So why the fuck y'all asking for change when y'all know damn the men ain't there? Like, shut that shit down. And women, stop entertaining the niggas that aren't men. Then if you don't entertain the niggas that aren't men, they what the fuck they getting the money for? Because most of them try to get money to get y'all, but y'all entertain any niggas. So really, y'all could stop the shit because last time I checked, Harvard don't let everybody in.
Well, with the DEI stuff, you know, they damn near. I mean, it depends on what race you are, I guess.
That's true. So it's a very I don't know. It's a complex. It's a very simple system, but at the same time, I just think sometimes it's so complex for just the average person to know that, like, you're being like, when you can speak to somebody in a toxic relationship who has got a black eye, and even with the logic there in their face, literally, and tell them you need to leave, and they don't, I don't know how good at convincing this shit I am.
Yeah.
Like present day, like you should leave that job. You're unhappy. You can't pay your bills. You don't leave.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how to get to the people. Because what I'm starting to realize is that there are less people that are ready to spend. I've learned that college taught me that everybody ain't ready to go downstairs and snatch the test. Okay. That's what college told me. But that being said, once I realized that, I said, oh shit, okay. Niggas is snitching, niggas is lying, niggas ain't ready to spend. That's cool, that's fine. I don't give a fuck. But you start to not know how to move because you're like, well, majority of people I'm gonna run into ain't willing to go grab them. Mm-hmm. So how do I function in a world where majority ain't gonna spend? Majority aren't gonna be aligned with these views. So what do I do?
Yeah. You said earlier, I think that, and you tell me your opinion, we need people to spin logically rather than emotionally. We need people, to me, the fight is like, how do you compete with all of these other influences that are out there? We know that the people that are going to be compromised are going to make more money. They're going to get more of a spotlight. They're going to be on the news stations. They're going to be highlighted more. They're going to have every single advantage. And we know that the other people are going to be targets. If you have two extreme people in a room that want to kill each other, and you're the person saying, hey, you know, let's just be peaceful, they'll probably kill you first. And then they'll get, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how this thing works. You see it in politics. The person that's in the middle, look, man, we just doing this Democrat versus Republican. Let's get this person out the way because, you know what I mean? Let's
work together and get this nigga out.
Right, we'll work together to remove him so we can get back to doing what we do.
You
know what I'm saying? Because at least this guarantees that one of us will be the extreme, if in politics, if you get the person out the middle, if you get them out the way, it guarantees power for each party, because it doesn't matter if the Democrats win. The Democrats low-key have more power over their people when the Republicans win. And the Republicans low-key have more power over their people when the Democrats win because of the tactics that they use. So they got to get that person out the way. So meanwhile, a lot of these men, these capital M men, these true leaders that are solution-based, stoic, approaching things with logic, not manipulating people emotionally, they become the targets. It's very dangerous for them. Now, there's a few things that I think they have to be willing to do to prevent themselves from either crashing out, whatever else happening to them, and them saying, you know what, it's not going to work. I'm just going to go with one side or another, which you see happens a lot. I think you got to be willing to be broke, or let me not say broke, not being, that's the wrong choice of words. You have to be very intentional about living below your means. Mm-hmm. You have to remove ego. You know what I mean? You have to do all of these things because if you're not willing to live below your means, then you may lose a job opportunity. You know what I mean? But it's like, I gotta put food on the table. Like now I'm making decisions out of survival mode, which is a different mode compared to principled mode. You know what I mean? We see how people act maybe different ways when they feel that their back is against the wall and they've been convinced that no, this person is going to kill you, or this person means that you're going to be in chains and shackles. You are willing to crash out. A mother bear is willing to behave in ways that she otherwise wouldn't behave if it's protecting her child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like we have to be very careful. We have to live below our means in certain ways. Like this is just stuff that I'm learning through, going through it. You know what I mean? You may have to be willing to say, you know what, I'm about to go hang out with the folks for a couple months, stack up some bread, save some. You got to be willing to do all these things because if you're not, then you're probably going to be in a position where you'll justify to yourself, you know what, it's better for me to just take this job. Look, I got to put food on the table. And that's what people say, as if that, like, is that excuse? Wait, hold up. So all morals, principles, values, we are allowed to excuse those when you want to put a nice meal on the table. Like, that's justified. Like, just to be clear, you know what I'm saying? And that's typically the world that we live in. There's certain things that we're okay with violating our principles, morals, and values, and whatever integrity we have, if it's going to produce a particular result. We're okay with, man, I hate this job. I hate every aspect. Well, it allows me to put food on the table. So, it provides me a certain level of comfort compared to what that discomfort would be. People aren't willing. I'd rather take this Monjera than forget working out, than tell myself that I can even achieve these results naturally. You know what I'm saying? We're not even on the conversation whether or not it's comparing working out. It's just I'd rather take this easy way out because it prevents me from holding myself accountable. And I think that's the place that we end up being in across the board.
Yeah, it shows you how the plot has just been like, I mean, the funnel is funneled. It is honed in. It like anybody who tries to create a rift in it, it knows how to eliminate it. It's all interconnected. I literally think of it like a CRM, like it's got its zaps, it's got its emails, it's got its automations. It's like you can Andrew Tate all you want, but that shit had a timeline. Even in the funnel, that shit.
See him.
And
you see what he's doing right now.
What he on now? I haven't seen his update.
Backtracking like Andrew Tate, bro.
Oh,
he as it appears to me, is like super Zionist now. Like I'm getting Zionist vibes from Andrew Tate. Yeah. He got tech teams in Israel. He did a whole after they did that. Remember they were in Miami at the club. And Hitler.
Oh yeah, they were shooting with
Kanye song came.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he just went on a whole press run, like trying to clearly he's trying to avoid prison. Now he was the person that was out here saying, "I don't care, I'll go to I stand up." He reached his red line where it's like, all right, like enough's enough. What do y'all need me to say? What do y'all need me to do?
Yeah.
Like, what do I need to push? And that's what I'll push to avoid whatever it is that they've clearly threatened him with.
So
You see it all the time. And matter of fact, I'm glad that we brought up Israel because you want to know why? Because I see it as another example. Israel right now is the one topic that has split conservatives and it's split liberals.
yeah,
You see in New York, with Mamdani, Democrats are, there's two different groups. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Conservative, two different groups, or maybe more. The conversation around Israel has become overly emotionalized. Now, I don't want to say, I don't mean overly emotionalized in a sense of we shouldn't care what's going on. No, it should be caring, but it should be caring from a logical standpoint, because now what's going to happen with this? Now it's like you got people that are saying F Israel, F the, you know what I mean? Y'all are going too hard, but that's exactly what the extreme people want on the other side, because now they can call you an anti-Semite.
Oh,
now
yeah,
they can say all these things. They don't hate the person that goes super hard against them. They hate, and I'm talking about the extreme people, they hate the person that's going to express like, look, we got to come to some logical sense. I do believe that this is, a genocide that's occurring. It's not okay. I'm not an anti-Semite. No, I'm not going to allow you to throw that badge on me and for me to crash out and wear it so you have justification in you crashing out and doing whatever it is that you want to do. No, we're going to have a logical conversation about this. Just like it wasn't okay for a genocide to be committed against your people, it's not okay for a genocide to be committed. We have this golden rule. We want to treat others the way that we want to be treated. No, we can't reference the Amalekites when we're referring to the Palestinian people. We can't do that. That's not how we behave, right? But that person is most dangerous to whatever extreme side on either end. So therefore, we have this situation where now people are like, it's almost become cool to talk very badly about Israel, but you're not even realizing that that's feeding into the problem, because now there's going to be justified, oh, well, they hate us. And it's just going to create more, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it goes back to it. Like, no, like we just have to come to the table as men and not allow things to become overly emotional on either side. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say that's the new angle. That's the new play. The old play was stand on business, violate niggas. Now as you said, that actually presents that there is a way to take down the funnel, and it's exactly the way they did it. It's to find a way to capture your momentum, your rage, your passion, your love, your hate, all that above. And they almost use that to get you to like it's an initiative. Like, I want you triggered because now look, now we can throw up sanctions. Now we can say this. Now we say, like, it's like rage baiting. Like, that's the new angle. Like I sent you the clip earlier. Like, before, the internet was full of just telling the truth. But now I can benefit, the money I can benefit from my comment section going crazy because I put something that Megyn Kelly didn't said on my clip. And now look, you can monetize that. So people have just realized here more recently than not that you don't always have to be the go hard, super go spin the block type of shit. You can be the go hard, you the victim, everybody bullying you, picking on you, and win that way too. Which one you want to be? And I think that example of, how a certain group of people have been able to capture the momentum and be able to utilize what they say is they're trying to kill us. And now we done seen in record time, we've seen a group of people who went from where they were to running this whole block under our eyes, like right in front of our face. And we're like, oh shit. And we didn't even peep because people were emotionally making decisions. They were emotionally being moved. They were emotionally voting, not realizing there's the play. It's just, I swear, getting older is just like is like unlocking the plays, and you're like, oh shit, that was a play.
I got something for you.
Yeah.
So to me, and I'm not saying that you were saying this. The reason why it's so dangerous to use people's, like, even if we use somebody's momentum, let's say we're using hate, we're using like fear, we're using all of these super emotional things. The problem that it presents, not that we can't overcome it, is when you're bringing logic to people that are overly emotional, they just want to feel something, because that same feeling, whether they feel a low or they feel a high, they're feeling something. So it's almost like there's a sense of reward that comes to them where the logic doesn't appeal to them. It's like the woman that you talked about, where she could have a black eye and just have gotten her ass beat, but in her mind, that's she's addicted to the ups and downs, the extremes, where just being here, it's like a drug addict. A drug addict can know that they're going to have an intense high, but right after they take that drug, it's going to be a super low. But they're like addicted to the extreme, that extreme feeling that maybe just, coasting is never going to provide to them. So it's like we have such a toxic society that is overly emotional, overly fearful, overly hate. There's too much hate. So unless we feed into that hate, or unless we address some sort of emotional response that's going to align with the emotional response that society creates, it's always going to fall short of capturing people's attention in a lot of ways on a consistent way, in my opinion. Like, it's very consistent what they've used, this pendulum swing back and forth. And they also know, this is why this may be the bigger play when it comes to Democrats and Republicans, why we believe that they all work together. They know that for them to have consistent power, we know that people in power control both the Democrats and Republicans. We see the groups that always get their stuff done, whether it's the Israel lobby, whether it's Big Pharma, Silicon Valley, whether there's certain groups that no matter who's in office, they're getting their agenda done. They control all of this stuff, but they've recognized that, okay, it's easy to control people emotionally, but you can only control people emotionally like it's a drug, it's a hit. So it's like, okay, we can be on a high today, but then we got to give, when they have that low, you can't just keep growing up on a drug. You know what I'm saying?
No, you can't keep running up.
It's a comparison game. You're comparing the high to that extreme low that you face after the drug. So what's going to be the extreme low? It's going to be, if I'm a Democrat, the extreme low is going to be a Republican president. If I'm a Republican, the extreme low is going to be a Democrat. So they've relied on this drastic difference of emotions that's extremely rewarding, because it's that roller coaster ride. You know what I mean? Where people are fully committed. It's hard to get somebody committed when stuff is just going here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's easy to get somebody, we're down here. We got to fight. And now you get a quick boost. You know what I'm saying? You get the Mamdani, you get give everybody things for free. You get that. Then it's like going to be, then what are these people going to be arguing? Nah, they shouldn't get shit. They shouldn't get, you know what I mean? Now it's going to flip. It's the same thing back and forth. And meanwhile, the people that are just here, it's tough, because it's tough to make this feel cool enough to where we get enough people's attention, because we're not like emotionally rallying them up. If we were here, if we talked about more, if we had a different approach, we'd have more people on here.
Yeah.
We'd have more people on the bot. But it's like, nah, like, y'all want to hear, you want to hear extreme people. You want to hear Tate. You want to hear Nick Fuentes. You want to hear what's the Hassan Piker. You want to hear all of these extreme people, no matter what side they're on. You're going to be drawn to it. Fox News wants MS Now to be as extreme as possible, so that way Fox News can attract people. MS Now wants Fox News to be as extreme as possible, because then they're going to attract. It all works on this like yin and yang, like extreme polarity type of system.
I think you opened my eyes to that. I always knew the extremes existed, but never in my head did I ever think, which is very stupid, never did I ever think that they work together. Like when you have the head of the Democrats and the head of the Republicans, and they understand the pendulum game, and then they're going in and they're having the conversation about how we gonna both win. that's when it blew my mind. I'm like, oh shit, that's the smartest play in the world. When you understand that people are pendulum based, emotion based, and so therefore, if you're an extreme and you're an extreme, and we double down on our extremes, but behind closed doors, we're having conversations how to continue the extremes. This shit almost remind you of fucking like wrestling, like Big Show and like all this choreographed shit to get the people going. And think about it, people know wrestling is fake, and it's arguably the biggest and hottest sport for decades, and people know it's scripted. So I think it's just so fascinating to me that like people who have acted to the best of their capability have completely washed me and not even realizing that the Bloods and the Crips can work together, bro. You just make it, you think they don't fuck with each other. And then you turn around and see the niggas at the top who's eating work with each other. You think about, DC. You think about all that. That ain't nothing but a big old Hollywood, big old script over there. But you're like, damn, you thinking like, the way I thought of DC before is like niggas going to work. They see this nigga from the Republican side. Man, fuck that. I'll run up on him. Like, I'm thinking like, I don't even know how DC, these niggas ain't just getting in brawls. And then you like, you know how much of these niggas go catch a bite together after this shit. And they're really like contemplating strategy, marketing, positioning, branding, all in these conversations amongst each other. And it just never dawned on me that if you'd make a bag being extreme, you'd make a huge bag working with other extremists.
Look at it. Wasn't Israel funding Hamas? Like, you know what I mean? Like, wasn't Bibi Netanyahu secretly funding the people? I want to fund the extreme group. I want to get rid of the person who's more let's say more middle ground. I forget exactly who it was. It Arafat? I forget. I haven't looked at it in a while. But we're gonna fund the extreme group. What would Bibi Netanyahu, in my opinion, love? He would love for Hamas to have another attack. He would love for Hezbollah to attack them. He don't give a damn about the people that they would lose in Israel. He just cares that then it justifies him doing whatever he needs to do in response so he can stay in power. It's all the same thing, bro. It's the people, it's the pawns on the chessboard that look very, you know what I mean? They're living the same life. But those are the ones that, just like whether it's a gang or anything else, the NBA owners, the NFL owners probably dine together, they work together, they revenue share. The players don't revenue share, you know what I'm saying? The players, they want their players in a rivalry game in college, they want their team to hate the other team because that's better for business. The presidents of the schools don't hate each other. They're like, yo, you know what I mean?
Awesome. How are the kids?
Right. And if the teams come together, if we go hang out with Villanova, then we're probably gonna be like, yeah, we kind of rock with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's my man.
Yeah, like, yo, that's my, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really got no issue like that with them. But if we hate each other, then it's gonna, you know what I mean? It's gonna be a better rivalry. It's gonna be better for football. It's not gonna be necessarily better for us. We're gonna be pounding each other. We're gonna be the ones that sacrifice. It's the same thing with the militaries, bro. Like, they're putting plays together just because we may be at war with somebody. Like, war makes a whole lot of money. So let's just look at it from this standpoint. If war makes politicians somehow, some way, or their family members who have consultant jobs with the military, industrial, whatever, and you know that war is going to make more money, it's like on one end, we understand that people don't care about anything other than money. Like, we can understand that people are evil and they make decisions off of money. So now if you have these politicians that are going to make somehow, some way, their families or somebody is going to make more money when there's war, and the other side, it's the same way. You think that they're not working? Like, yo, I mean, yo, do what y'all need to do. Like, why is Iran even calling up America saying, hey, we're going to hit y'all at this military base. Make sure your people aren't there because we're gonna bomb. Like, what? Like, that was the weirdest thing in the world to me.
Oh, they did that?
Bro, they called Trump and said, like, yo, we're going to bomb this particular spot. Like, that just showed to me, like, oh, this is all strategic. Like, this is just all like like this is all just kind of a huge play. You know what I'm saying? And these are the people that are screaming death to America that we're supposed to believe, but they called Trump up and said, hey, make sure y'all clear out these troops. We don't want this to turn into anything big, but because y'all did what y'all did, we just got to show face and we got to do something. You know what I'm saying?
All right, cool. Just all right, we'll make sure
we'll have them out by 4. You know what I mean? Like, all right, y'all just come at 5, give us an hour, you know, just in case there's some stragglers. And it's like, hold up, what?
Yeah, all right, talk to them about
all these terrorist groups that we're fighting. They end up having U.S. equipment. It's like everybody's fighting with the same weapons. Like how everybody got the same weapons. Like who's selling this? Like it's just insane, bro. It's insane.
I mean, remember it was the same thing when slavery began. When they took over Africa, the Europeans and the French they found an opportunity to provide weapons to the tribes that were fighting, and they benefited from that. The chaos, they sold it to both ends. And then whoever got captured, they slid through and copped those and gave them more equipment. This is the foundation of this country. The foundation of this world. How can we benefit? Kenya, they fighting with Ghana? Oh shit, all right. Hey, we got these weapons. Y'all want to tap in? Hell yeah. Okay, go to the other side. Go get them. Hey, they got hell yeah. You selling to both ends. All right, we captured them. Well, look, we'll give you half off if you let us get them slaves. Okay, bet. Whole time, the Africa, they done let their whole fucking continent get snatched.
Blame the white man.
Emotional.
Yeah.
Let the whole continent.
Look at what Trump did with the narrative that he was pushing with Nigeria. They're killing Christians. And then you look it up and you like, well, actually, these extreme groups who happen to be Muslim have killed more Muslims than they killed Christians. But in our mind, we're a Christian country. We're supporting Israel, fighting against Muslims who they always try to paint as being super extreme terrorists. So therefore, if I can, this may be a play where I can extort, more of Africa. Let's exploit more of Africa and just say like, oh yeah, they're killing Christians down there. It's terrible. But then when you look into it, you're literally like, yo, these groups that you're talking about, they've killed more Muslims than they killed Christians. But you never hear that because it's all just narrative based. It's all just intended to just grab our attention because most people, even with what you sent me, you could probably send like Glaze sent me a screenshot of something that Megyn Kelly said about Haitians. Most people are just going to take that and whatever opinion they have about Megyn Kelly, because they probably, let's say if you send that to somebody who's liberal, Democrat, they probably already hate Megyn Kelly. So they're going to take that, not necessarily verify or see if it's true, but they just probably going to send it out to somebody else. You know what I mean? It's just going to, and then it's just going to grow. The whole time it's like, yeah, she ain't say that, but it doesn't matter at that point.
Yo, propaganda is an insane strategy, bruh. Like flooding the information gates, flooding the media, flooding with whatever prerogative or focus or angle that you have is honestly probably the strongest component into wanting to take over something.
Yeah.
It's just flood the gates with fake news, as Trump used to say. Like,
there's something that we've talked about before, the Smith-Mundt Act. There was something in there where it's still hard to kind of, we've gone back and forth with it in some family discussions where it's just trying to figure out where it's allowed for us to give propaganda to other countries. And this particular Smith-Mundt Act did something where it allowed, and I got to look at the details because I haven't been caught up on it in a while. But when Barack Obama was president, he passed this Smith-Mundt Act that allows people to not only propagandize, like America to propagandize other countries, but it flipped it to Americans. So there's something where they're like, it opens the door for us to be propagandized by our own media outlets. So all this stuff that's being pushed, there's no standard that people are held to. There's no standard that It's like we look at the news stations like they took the Hippocratic oath that the doctors take, that they're supposed to say, I'll treat my patients with only having good intentions, whatever else they say, that nobody believes it. But it's the same thing with the news. Like nobody listens to the news. Like we listen to the news as if they have some type of moral obligation to tell us the truth or to bring us together. That's not their goal.
Yeah, for many years, that's what you would have told me, and I would have been like, "Nah, the news is where you get the information." Yeah. And what's sad, it has exposed a lot of the older generation who kind of grew up in that concept of like the news providing the information. It shows you how a lot of the radicalness that even they have in their perspective and angle is really like have been curated since day one. And it's just like, they're at the age now where you're not going to be able to change that. So it'll be a generation or two before where niggas ain't really looking at news like that. Like, no longer do you need Kim Kardashian or Serena Williams promoting a product and you didn't know that it's cap. Like, you know now that she's getting a check. But for the longest, the way that influencers work, that was where the benefit was. Like, oh, like she's got an audience, she promotes this product, we'll sell merch, blah, blah, blah. And then now, what did it take? I'd say like the whole concept of like people like being influencers probably started in like 2015, 2000, like maybe when we first started off in college, but we didn't really jump on Instagram that quick. So I'd say like 2015, I would say. So it took 10 years for us to realize that every nigga that posts a link in their bio is cap. But for the first 5 years, niggas made billions off of just saying Kim K just getting this, or Serena saying this, or Charles Barkley's bitch ass saying this, or Shaq saying this, or Shaq done endorsed every product on earth. So it's just like we now look at that with a little bit of a grain of salt, like, okay, how much check? Because we realized that companies were leveraging celebrity takes and positioning for products. And then we started seeing them leach into politics. Diddy with the vote or die movement. What's her name? The white girl that can't stand Trump. That dates Travis Kelce.
I don't know why I always think Paris Hilton. It's not Paris Hilton. It's the singer.
The singer, yeah.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. So when you start, like, then they started getting into the politics, and now people are being a little bit more radical because now we're starting to see, oh, Meg Thee Stallion, you can get a little bag and you can get some marketing opportunity here if you pull up on this convention down here in Atlanta. Oh, Quavo, pull up. T.I., pull up. Candace, pull up. We're like, hold up. Everybody collecting a check? And then now we look back and like, oh, damn, this is cap now. Like, we're past the 5-year mark where we believe everything. Now we know, like, the news officially has been disqualified, and we'll trust the Candace Owens platform for longer than we'll ever trust these news outlets until it's compromised. Yeah, man. Because everybody got a dollar amount. Everybody got. How has Candace been doing? Have you been keeping up with her at all?
No, I tried to watch like 3 minutes of one clip of her show because Candace's show doesn't really appeal to me.
Yeah.
And I also haven't been watching a lot of politics, but I like watching, like, I've caught up on some of Tucker's recent videos.
Yeah.
Like Tucker appeals to me more right now. I don't know why. But I really haven't. There's not a lot of, and then, like, of course, I still love Dave Smith, but I haven't watched a lot of his videos. Captain says she's still crushing. I believe it. One thing that Candace is, she is who she says she is.
Yeah.
like when
she's standing on business.
Everything that she may be wrong, she may be whatever, but you gonna hear her, and she gonna stand on it, and you're not going to bully her. She's ready to go all the way. I hope it doesn't ever turn into something like that. But she's definitely she's that's why they fear her so much.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they fear her so much. And yeah. If more black men behave like Candace Owens, Let me not go there.
Yo, low key. If
Yeah.
men in general,
How do we fix the black issues in the community?
go ask Candace.
Let's just go learn how to behave. How can let me
No bullshit though.
say that. Candace sometimes gets a little emotional too.
Yeah.
She gets something, but I meant just as far as like standing on certain things.
But that's the level of spin. If you want change, that's the level of spin you got to be willing to do.
But see, I don't think Candace is going to bring about any change.
It's
See,
just
that's the thing. Like I don't think that, because I think she's too polarizing. She's too polarizing because Candace will wake some people up. I shouldn't say she can't bring about any change. I'm talking about like actually she's going to change things. Like she could definitely move the pendulum, but her type of energy, in my opinion, is going to be the pendulum swinging all the, you know what I mean? We're trying to find balance.
Oh yeah, that's why we can't lean on Candace completely.
We're trying to find balance. There's not a lot of balanced people that have large platforms because it's not appealing.
Damn. So
it's simply not appealing.
Is the play to run it? Is the play to hit it? Like, is the play to Andrew Tate it and then split the difference?
I don't know how you can, because I don't know. Think about it. If you get a bunch of people to follow you based on Andrew Tate's tactics, it's very hard for both Andrew Tate to then say, hey, nah, we're going to stop here in the middle. Because Andrew Tate, think about it right now, he's not willing to stand on stuff anymore. That's why he's behaving how he's behaving now, where he's completely the pendulum. Oh, now whatever y'all need me to say or do, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a lot of compromising. And then the people that are following him, like, they're going to be, I don't think that you can, I just haven't seen people get riled up emotionally and then be able to balance their group that they used emotions, fear, anger to get people following them to then, say, oh, no, but let's have some balance here. I think that those people will likely call that leader phony and just be attracted to the next person that's willing to be as extreme. You know what I mean? I just don't see it. I don't see it politically, because if that was the case politically, we wouldn't keep voting for the extremes.
I think the only time I would say the only position or individual that I see provoke that is typically like when you see females like Black China, like or Krishan, like they go from being like OF models to like being Christian missionaries. And like somehow, some way they lose an audience, but they never lose enough to make them like have to like resort back to OFing. It's always like they run it up to 1 million, then they find God. Or they become
they get a big enough bag. Now there's certain people that I think will be willing to just stand on certain stuff, but their impact that they had with all the ignorant stuff typically outweighs the impact. Like, it doesn't matter how many people are inspired by Jay-Z to open up a business. In my opinion, there were a lot more people that he impacted and a culture that he impacted by bragging about how he sold drugs and then turn that into whatever empire that he has. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It'll set the impact side of it. Like, he will personally have whatever success in what he does.
Right.
But if the goal is impact, then that's going to be tough, because they always, yeah.
And people like comebacks. We live in just polarizing everything. Like the person that goes from 500 pounds and goes to 200 pounds,
yeah,
and they can track that journey, is always going to be celebrated than the person that just stayed at 200 pounds.
Yeah.
It's like my boy, he just went viral. He like 2 videos, I think, of 5 million each, where he tracked his journey literally from 500 pounds to now he's, in shape. That's always going to go more viral.
That's the boy that you posted?
Yeah, that's my boy.
I didn't know him. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I grew up with him. And it's funny, his brother, he has a little brother, and he's a year younger than me. a year younger than us, and his little brother has always just been jacked. He's gonna go viral. His little brother that everybody like, oh yeah, we know, like Lloyd built, like, you know what I'm saying? Like his little brother's built, but he's always been like that. You know what I mean? So there's not like there's no story there. It's just he's here. Like he's just been here. Stories are written based on this.
We're getting somewhere, because if we've noticed the things that have been the most viral, the things that do well in the algorithm, has been people have been pushing this narrative to storytell. Like as long as you can storytell, you can build your brand organically. Like you can get captivating enough where you can bring followers to join you in the journey from I'm building my 7-figure business from living in my mom's basement. Like people are loving this right now on social. And if you can tell a story, then essentially you can become successful, because when you think of a pastor, the pastor doesn't have to live that life. He just mastered at storytelling, a story in a book. And then now people go to him, they pay him, they give him 10%. They do all these things off of a guy who's just mastered enthusiasm and emotion and orchestrated this choreography on a stage with singers and, the bass, the instruments. Like he's just storytelling. And so now we're realizing that if you want to be successful at benefiting from people to an extent, if you can find a way to tell them a story that's exciting and taps in on their emotions, then you'll always be on a stage. You'll always be masterminding. You'll always be at the what's the two guys from Jersey that do the tour now? The black guys, the financial literacy.
They're from New York.
New York.
I know who you're talking about.
What is that group called?
Earn Your Worth or
Earn Your Leisure.
Earn Your Leisure, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Like that concept wasn't new. They were just substitute teachers like you were. Like, you know what I mean? Like helping the youth out, like wanted to help them, et cetera, et cetera. They blew that shit up, storytelling. That guy that walks around on interviews with the mic and then says, hey, like, how did you get that car? The School of Hard Knocks, storytelling. Like, it's tried and true that if you can find a way to master telling a story, whether it be true or not, does not matter. But if you're just good at telling a story in front of a bunch of people or in front of a camera, you will grow an audience, and you can at some point do whatever you want with that audience. So the
story is story. If we were going to film school or writing school, whatever it be, we'd have to say, like, I'm assuming that there would be some sort of problem. You know what I mean? It's like you start off here and then you go a little bit up, and then you have a huge down where the main character, the protagonist has to, you know what I mean? And then they got to, it's the same, but it usually has a big dip, you know what I mean? Either here or there, to where it makes it more appealing. If I just hear a story about like, yo, I woke up today, had some breakfast, worked, had some lunch, went back to work a little bit, then I came home, ate dinner, had a beer,
no motion,
went to sleep. It's like, that ain't really a story, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or a story that people are drawn to.
Yeah, you gotta be like the guy in like Africa or India or Bangladesh who's like taking care of cows and sleeping on hay and doing all this shit. Like there's a guy I follow who's like in Bangladesh and he wants to be in the Olympics as a track runner, but he lives in like the poorest area in India, and he copies the format of Ashton Hall. So it's like 6, 601, 604, 7, 715 throughout his whole day. And I mean, this guy's like literally like in the middle of like poverty, and it's a story. And I'm starting to realize that's the game.
But and to not take away credit, because I also have to highlight this, like even with my boy that went from 500 to the consistency, he had to do the boring work every day. You know what I mean? So it's still like, okay, let's say you don't start with 500 pounds. You start with 200 and you're in shape. If you do the boring work that may, let's say, it may be easier to create a bigger story going from 500 pounds to 200 pounds. You did that, let's say 3-4 years. You created a crazy story, you know what I mean? A storyline within 5 years. The person that's 200 pounds and in shape, it may take them maybe 10 years, 15 years to have that, same discipline to where they've created a large enough gap to where they've gone from here to where now there's a story. You know what I'm saying? They may just have to work longer to have the type of story that they can say, I started off here, now I'm here. Because that's what people are looking at. I started off here, now I'm here. That's what attracts people. So you may have to work 20 years, 25 years. It may be a little bit different. It may be easier to just say, yeah, I sold drugs. Now I own a company. Oh, he went from selling drugs to owning. It's like, well, yeah, but the person that just maybe had that same job 40 years and was investing consistently, doing the boring stuff, but that made a huge impact, we may not be able to celebrate that or see like the benefit from that for 40, 50 years. You got to be consistent. So it's do you want the microwave or do you want the oven? So it's still going to require discipline, consistency, and the stuff that we're shooting for. We may not get the quick reward that, let's say, a Mamdani may get by just saying, yo, everything's free. You know what I'm saying? We may not get the same reward that, Trump may get by him pushing his narrative because people may see it as extreme. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to get these same type of rewards in a short-term way where it's just like, no, we're pushing this boring stuff, but you got to just wait and see how we may not be able to show you for another 40 years, but in 40 years, you'll get it. It just may take a little bit more time.
I get it.
Yeah. Sometimes it would be easier for me to make an impact. I always thought like, yo, if I just took a year and just ate whatever I wanted to eat and just didn't work out, then it would be easier for me to stand on something and say, all right, guys, this is how you go from here to here. You know what I'm saying? It's just easier for people to see. So it's the same example in other areas, but people are not attracted to boring until all of that boring work becomes something extravagant. So it may take 40 years. It may take a while, but
yeah, I guess
the captain brought up a great point. How much time do you got? That's the difficult part. And who's willing to, let's say that the results don't even come from your generation.
Yeah, you may not even see it.
You may not see the change.
Yeah, you got to be okay with that.
Yeah. All right, man, let's get up out of here.
All right, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we got a couple, we'll take a couple breaths and then we're going to get up out of here because we already after 10. This was dope. This was dope. Yeah. The balance, man. It's the hardest thing. It's harder to stand on something in balance rather than to just be extreme on one side, put the weight on one side. It's hard to figure out the exact weight on both sides.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you have two completely different things that you're putting on there, whatever. Y'all get the point. All right. So we're going to do our breathing. Very simple. We're going to do 4 cycles. We're going to do an inhale for 4 seconds, focusing on all the positive energy. Then we're going to do a 4-second hold. Then we're going to follow it with a 4-second exhale where we're still focusing on the positive energy, but just releasing that positive energy out to the universe. So we're going to start with a 4-second hold, 4-second inhale. If you're in a safe place, close your eyes. If not, do what you feel like doing. All right. Yeah, the camera, it'd be weird with both of us on here. Just all right. So 4-second inhale. Ready, begin. Hold. Release. Inhale. Hold. Release. Inhale. Hold. Release. Oh. Inhale, last set. Last cycle. Hold. Release. All right. More balance, more stoicism, less emotions, and just let's try to just see everybody's side. Like that's what men are supposed to do. We're supposed to come to the table. It's not about winning. We're just trying to figure things out so we all can move forward. All right. It's not us versus them. When the people that are putting us against each other, they don't even see it as us versus them. Let's just have some balance, have some perspective, figure out what you want to focus on in order to get the most out of your life and move in the direction that you're looking to move in. So, strength and honor, onward and upward. What are the things that you're focusing on? We like to call getting to the bag. I like to focus on peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, and in everything we do, integrity. And of course, Glay, add that little balance of perspective on there. All right.
Salt Bay on these names.
Mama Lay, I shall call you later.
Dak, I'm still waiting.
I shall call you later. Appreciate all y'all, man. Appreciate all y'all. Definitely, we weren't as in tune with the chat today, but yeah, I know we just had our little convo. Had to catch up on here for y'all. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed it. Shout out to Big Bro Finn. The fruit is bitter, then throw it away. There are brambles in the path. Then go around them. That is enough. Do not ask, why were such things made in the world? The fruit is bitter, ? Then throw it away. There are brambles in the path, ? Then go around them. That is enough. Do not ask, why were such things made in the world? The Honorable Marcus Aurelius. Shout out to you, Mama Lay. Shout out to all y'all, man. Shout out to all y'all. We leading with love. We leading with peace. Man, yeah, go enjoy your weekend, everybody. And like we said, man, I'm waiting for BK to flip the screen and have one, man. Yo, see, they missed you, Glay. They missed you, Glay. And as always, we finish off with Queez. I don't know, Glay, you got anything? Or we good?
Yeah, I think we're good. I think just doubling down on the perspective angle of things. It's always interesting to know what others are thinking. I had to talk about that yesterday. Like, I had one of my friends was upset with the friend for not having time or not doing what she did for her during that moment. And I was able to come in with an unbiased opinion because obviously, I'm not involved in it. And then I was able to kind of undiscover, like, damn, she didn't even peep that you hyper sensitive to the situation, but you weren't, you were over analyzing everything and taking everything so personal. And I was like, nah, like, I don't think it's like that, because it was a good friend. It was a best friend. And they were like, well, they ain't doing this for me and they ain't doing it for that. And then they turned around and she was like, damn, bro, like, I think I was tripping. And I'm like, yeah, that lens, you really do got to see perspective from the other side, because you'll be in a whole fight, argument, beef. I mean, shit, I've done that towards you, where I'm thinking Dak is so upset.
Yeah, we both done it.
And I'm like, I never even talked to him. I done created a big old thing that ain't what it is, and never had that convo. So I think I had that convo just yesterday. So it's always good to always be able to get that balance. But you also have to be in a position where you're ready for the balance, because sometimes you're not ready. Sometimes you on your extreme shit and you got to figure out when you off of that. And then when you off of it, you'll be open for the balance. So, like, we're just these humans just trying to navigate through this uncalculated world that seems to be calculated by certain groups of people and et cetera, et cetera. But just like analyzing what needs to be analyzed, but at the same time, like, not over analyzing everything. And then just trying to find a happy medium. But as we're speaking, man, the more and more we talking about it, it's like happy medium ain't gonna be the way to get these motherfuckers to get this shit. It's like there's gonna have to be a certain level of, I don't know if it's a crash or I don't know what it's gonna take, but the happy medium, unfortunately, like you said, like, they getting us up out of here first. They're like, oh, he don't even stand on nothing. Get his ass up out of here. All right, now let's focus on the enemy at hand. So we got to really strategize how you can, because there's a way. Just as much as motherfuckers thought they was smart to devise this blueprint and this funnel, and just as much as the Jewish individuals were able to strategize that, like there is another plan. There's another funnel. There's another way. We just have to continue to think and strategize to be able to create it. There, it's not all because you couldn't have told me 100, 200, 300 years ago that they would have devised these divisive plans so strategically that early. It's just taken time, and now we see the final result. Like, damn, this politics is a monster. Well, politics didn't start as difficult in paying this person, and this person is getting money from this and this lobbyist, and we're going to make that legal, but we're going to make this illegal. Like, this is over time we're seeing these results now. So we have to understand we might be in the early stages of planting the seeds of what can become something for generations and generations to come down the road. But we are going to have to establish this during a moment where it seems like it's not worth it. But as long as we understand that it's not for us to benefit, it's for the next Dak, the next BK, the next Finn, the next Abu Han, for the next, as long as we keep that in mind, that this struggle is not for us to solve for us, but for generations to come, and we stay in that like unselfish position and mentally, then I think we'll do ourselves a good service, or at least give the next generation a huge head start that nobody could have even fathomed, considering the powers that we're going against and how we're thinking and what we're trying to do. Like, people would have gave up and just said, fuck it. But we've seen in history, people have always, through what has seemed the most impossible, there's always been a small group of people that have believed, and it's created shifts and rifts in history. So we have to keep that mindset.
I agree, bro. I agree. That was well said.
Yeah, so.
Well said, man.
All right, man. I'm out of here.
Hold up, yo.
Chill out.
Hold up, yo. I was laughing too. And when Abu Han called it out, when you hit the Jewish individuals, I was like, yo, what is
Dog, I'm trying to keep this joint from
I was about to clown you too. I was like, what? Like,
come on, Abu Han. I'm trying to keep this joint with the numbers high.
Come on, man. All right, man. We'll see y'all next week sometime. We'll post the show. And we'll get Glay on here soon.
Yeah. I'm gonna tap back in.
All right, bet, man. All right. Well, y'all have a good one. Have a great weekend. You.